Okay, so let's get straight to the biggest feature on this Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5, and that is this new big 3.4-inch flex window that allows for when you are using this phone for like maps directions, when I am using like Google Maps to walk around. Yeah, I can just be walking around with this in my hand, and then now when I do want to glance down at my directions, just look at it without unfolding it and be able to have access to a lot of information on that screen. Or when I'm using this phone to take a lot of selfies, because I am a little bit of a selfie fiend, but yeah, you now have a bigger screen to be able to preview and frame up your selfie shots when you are using the rear facing cameras, which are typically always going to be the better cameras on any smartphone. So that's why you want to use this flex window for that. And you can still pinch and zoom to be able to switch between the ultra wide camera and also the wide angle camera. But I do wish that Samsung did add some little buttons on the screen so you could just tap and do that, because sometimes when I am pinching and zooming, I don't get the exact magnification that I want. So yeah, that would be nice to have. But either way, whether you're taking like a regular photo or a portrait mode photo, or even just taking some video, this just allows me to not have to kind of retake my stuff over and over again because I didn't frame it up properly. Or when I'm walking around and I have some wireless earbuds in my ears, I can have quick access to the media controls. And again, it's just very nice to have all of this in the palm of my hand. But let me dive into the software to show you really everything that you can do with this screen. So right now, this is the always on display. And to unlock the phone, you can either use facial recognition or you can use the built-in fingerprint scanner that's inside of the power button here on the side. And now this is my main home screen here that I can tap and hold and be able to swipe through some of the other presets that Samsung has made for the screen. And some of them will be giving you some information. Some of them are just going to be kind of wacky like this one. But you can also go into the settings app and customize these a little bit further. So some of them will allow you to change the picture or the background image. And also you can change up the clock style, the fonts, and also the colors. And then you also have this little shortcut button at the bottom right-hand corner. And so you can set this to quickly open up the camera app, the clock app, the flashlight, and a few other different things. So basically you just tap and then swipe out, and then now you will activate that shortcut. So yeah, I'm digging all of the options that you have here, and I'm liking being able to add my little picture of gadget right there. But one thing you will note is that the rotation will be locked when you do have the phone closed. So if you rotate it like this, the screen will not move around. So Samsung wants you to use this phone when it's closed with the cameras at the bottom. But if you do open it up, so when you have it in this tent mode, it'll be like this. Or if you want to put it up in this tabletop mode, you see that the screen will rotate just like so. Now, Samsung has made a dozen or so widgets that are taking advantage of this new flex window. So this is the weather widget, which looks a lot similar to the weather app that you use on the big 6.7-inch screen when you do unfold this phone. So it looks really nice, but also when you look at the comparison with the Galaxy Z Flip 4's weather widget, it's just really no comparison, right? You just have way more information that you can see. And the same thing goes when you do swipe over to the calendar widget here. You can tap on these days to be able to see different events that you have scheduled. So that is nice. Also, you have this list view that you can switch to. Now, one thing I will say, though, is that you can't really add a particular calendar event by tapping on the screen. Now, you can activate Bixby and then set up a calendar event, which I'll do right now. Add calendar event today to go to movies. All right, so now it will do that, and now I can save that, and then that will show up here, boom, just like so. So that's cool, and it works, but sometimes you might not want to actually be talking, right? So I wish there was a way that you can tap on here and then use the on-screen keyboard to type an event in manually. So I wish that was the case, and the same thing goes for this clock/alarm widget here. So this does allow you to add a new alarm, so you can set the time, and then also you can choose the day of the week that it does activate, then you can hit save, but you can't actually name it anything, so you can't add a title to it. So again, you have access to that on-screen keyboard when you are using like the Messages app and certain other apps, but for some reason they didn't give you that access with some of the built-in widgets. But besides those gripes, I really do like the way the widgets function. So here's the stock widget, and then also you have the steps widget, which is a little bit interactive, so you can go back and tap on certain days to see how well you did. Also, you have the stopwatch. We can go ahead and hit the play button there. You can swipe up for a little bit more of a simplified display there. Then also you have your kind of your health and fitness one that you can look at. And then you do have a timer. So it has some presets here for 30 or 15 minutes. And then here is your timer like so. Now, one cool thing is that if you do have like a timer or an alarm going off and you do have your phone closed like this, you can simply just place your palm on top of the screen and it will go ahead and mute and just silence that particular alarm quickly for you. Oh, and when you do have the timer or stopwatch going, or you're listening to some music on the main home screen, you'll see a little pop-up here at the bottom that will go ahead and show you that particular activity that's going on. So now if I was to tap on this, it will take me to the stopwatch widget. And the same thing for if I am listening to some music, and that little pop-up is there, it'll take me to the media controls. But you know what? One thing I was trying to do naturally was just to tap on these buttons when I was on these home screens, but they don't do anything right now. I can easily get over to my notifications just by swiping. Then I can swipe them away just like that. But I would like to be able to tap on that notification, or even maybe like the calendar one, and have it take me to the calendar widget. I think that would be just more useful. And also, on any screen that you're on, you can pinch in to be able to see all of the widgets, and now you can quickly scroll up and down and tap on the one that you want to go to. And so this is very fast, and it's really taking advantage of that Qualcomm Snapdragon Gen 2 processor inside of this phone, so you can see that it works very well. So I really do like that. So the widgets are all good, but what if you want to run some apps on this bad boy? So Samsung has approved a few different apps to work on this Flex window. So when I swipe over here, you'll be able to see some of them that I have activated, like the Google Maps app, like I talked about before, works really well. You can activate Street View and stuff, so that's nice. And the messaging apps coming from either Google Messages or Samsung's own messaging app will work on this screen. And that on-screen keyboard actually doesn't feel too cramped, so I actually enjoyed using it. And then YouTube works really well on this too, so you'll be able to have access to your subscriptions, or just going through the home screen and finding a video to watch. You can still pinch and zoom, and navigation is pretty good on this, so I had no problems with YouTube running on this. But what if you wanted to run every app on your phone on this Flex window? Well, actually, there's an official way from Samsung that you can do it, but it's not as easy to find as I would want it to be. So in order to do this, you have to download the Good Lock application from the Samsung Galaxy Store. And after you download it, just go ahead and open up that bad boy. And now you'll see multiple different kind of like mini apps inside of this one app. But the one you want to use for the Flex window is called Multistar. So you'll need to download that one, but I already have it downloaded. And now you want to go to this I Love Galaxy Foldable section here. But now you can go to the Launcher widget. So this will add a widget to the other widgets on the Flex window. But now you can select any app that you have installed on your phone. And so I can tap on Facebook and email and Google Drive. And now those will show up here in the Launcher widget that I'll show you now once I close this phone. And now I swipe over, and then now I have the Good Lock widget here. And then now I can swipe down and you can see the Google Drive and the messages and also the Facebook options that I added here. So now I can go into the gallery app, and then now I'll be able to see some of the pictures that I took a little bit earlier today. Look at me looking all cool in the middle of the street. But now I can pinch and zoom and be able to take a look at some of the photos that I took before using this Flex window and also the rear-facing cameras. So this is nice. And I can even go ahead and open up Instagram now, and I will have to do a little bit more scrolling than I typically would on the main bigger 6.7-inch screen. But yeah, things function typically well on this. You can go through people's stories and stuff. But one thing I did notice is that if I did swipe over and I wanted to use the cameras to be able to shoot like a story or something, you can see that everything really isn't fully optimized. So this is one of the reasons why Samsung did put this inside of the Good Lock application, because every app is not promised to work really well. Now, most of the things I use, like Threads or Twitter, X and stuff like that, did function well, but there were those times where apps just really didn't give me a good experience. But I still don't think that Samsung had to kind of bury this inside of the Good Lock application. I actually wish they would have put this into their lab setting in the settings app that does tell you that anything that you're using in this kind of group is experimental and it's not promised to work perfectly. So I wish they would have just added a toggle to be able to enable every app that you can use on this Flex window just into that settings app, so it would be a lot easier for people to find, because most people who buy this phone won't know about this ability and to be able to really use the full capabilities of this Flex window unless they're watching a video like this or they're just a techie and they're all in the know when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that Samsung added this capability. So yeah, you can play games on this thing. You can load up Call of Duty or something else, but I do find games that really don't need you to use a lot of on-screen controls and stuff like this Spades app that I use work really well for this type of format. And you do have access to your quick toggles just by swiping down from the top, so you can turn on airplane mode, or I can turn on the flashlight just by pressing on the button, and then boom, now I can see in the dark. And also, if you do set up Samsung Wallet, you'll be able to swipe up from the bottom to be able to access that. All right, so enough about the Flex window. Now let's talk about the rest of the phone. So just from a design perspective, they have redesigned the hinge to allow the phone to fold flatter now than previous versions of the Z Flip. And when I bring in the Z Flip 4, you can just see that difference and the lack of a gap now that will help protect the inside screen, which actually is a little bit more durable this year, but still you want to help prevent anything from being able to slide in there when you do put this phone in your pocket, like, you know, I don't know, lint or some dirt or maybe a key or something. So basically not having that gap anymore does help keep this phone a little bit more protective. And also it looks better. And also when you are holding it in your hand, it does feel a little bit better. But even with this improved hinge, the crease is still here on the screen. Now, when you're looking directly at the screen, you typically don't see the crease. You'll still feel it if you rub your finger across of it. But when you start to kind of rotate it, you can see that it still is there. So Samsung still hasn't cracked the code yet to get that crease out of there. But the best part about this form factor is just how small it is. So when I am putting it in my pocket, it feels a lot better than just having a really big screen phone in my pocket. And it still is a little bit slippery. So if you are wearing like gym shorts and stuff, I would recommend getting some type of case to add a little bit of texture to it. Now, the battery specs are identical to the Z Flip 4. So you have a 3700 milliamp hour battery. You have 25 watt fast charging when wired, and also 15 watt fast wireless charging. And then you also have 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. So that's called wireless power share. So when you activate that now, you can go ahead and place another phone or a pair of wireless earbuds on the back of this phone, and the phone will actually start charging those. But even though the battery specs are identical, I did get overall better battery performance compared to the Z Flip 4 because this Flip 5 does have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset inside of it, which is just going to be not only good for good performance, which I've gotten on this phone, but also just helping extend that battery life. Now, I'm not going to say that every day I got all day battery life. I still found myself a few days having to put this on the charger towards the end of my day. So this is not going to give you the battery life where you can use it for a complete full day the way I use it, which is very heavily, and then wake up in the morning and maybe make it until like the afternoon. But I didn't have as much anxiety that I had with the battery with the previous flip phone, so that is an improvement. And this phone is still rated IPX8, so walking out in light rain and stuff, it shouldn't break down on you, but you don't want to go swimming with this thing, so be a little bit careful when it comes to the water, but overall, just regular sweat and stuff shouldn't be a problem. Now, performance on this phone was really smooth. Software-wise, this is running Android 13 and Samsung's One UI, I think 5.1.1 at this particular point. So I'm perfectly fine with the software performance. But one thing that is still missing from this phone from most other higher end Samsung phone is going to be Samsung DeX. You still don't have that on this phone. And Samsung is promising 4 years of Android OS updates and 5 years of security updates for this. Now, Flex Mode is still here, and I talked about how I do use it to take photos and stuff. And of course, some of the apps like Instagram and stuff do take advantage of it. So you can fold it in half and then make it a little bit easier to take some selfie videos or photos with yourself or other people. But I still mostly use this to watch videos like on YouTube. So I can be watching a video and then fold the phone in half like that. And now I have the video playing up there. So now from this point, I can just scroll through the comments at the bottom if I wanted to do that. And then also you can hit this little button down here that would activate the flex mode panel or the advanced flex mode panel. Now, I don't like the fact that it does minimize the video at the top, so I have to actually maximize it again. But you get your playback controls down here. And you also have a button down here that will allow you to access the multi-window. So you'll be able to add another app here to the screen. So I can add maybe Instagram right here, and then now I'll be able to browse both of these at the same time. And then also you can tap on this little menu there to be able to swap the window screens up and down. And then also you can hit that little star button to go ahead and save this app pair to your home screen or to the app edge panel that's still here. And now from the home screen, I can just tap on this shortcut and those two apps will open up together. Okay, so now let's talk about the camera. So overall, I'm happy with the camera performance, and I am a person that takes a lot of photos and videos. So even if I like a phone, if the camera sucks, I don't really want to use it every day, but I was very happy with the photos that I got with this phone. And that's also including the photos from the selfie camera that's on the bigger display. And side by side, of course, I still want to use the cameras on the back for my selfies, especially with this new flex window. But either way, I was still happy with the performance in portrait mode and also regular photos. The color representation felt fine for me, and also the way it handled dynamic range was generally good. It still struggled at times, but overall, I was happy with it. But I will say that the cameras could benefit from some higher megapixel counts because I do like to crop in a lot in my photos. So just having 12 megapixels for both the rear-facing ultra wide and wide angle cameras, you know, it's fine. But if you do like to crop in like me, you do find yourself wanting a little bit more, and you still don't don't have a dedicated telephoto camera, but they have improved on their digital zoom, which goes up to 10 times, and they are using AI and also multi-frame processing to hopefully make these pictures look good. But I found myself really only using the zoom up to 4 times zoom, where I was still happy with the results, and I would share that on social media. 10 times zoom felt me wanting a little bit more. And as far as video quality, you still can record up to 4K 60 frames per second with the rear-facing cameras and the front-facing camera. But when you do want to use this phone in flex mode while recording video, you can only record up to 1080p at 60 frames per second in the flex mode and still have the video be in the 16:9 format. If you do want to go to a higher resolution, that will only work in portrait mode when you have it like this. But one workaround for this is just to actually physically rotate the camera so you can still get that 16:9 aspect ratio and the 4K 60 frames per second like I like to record in. But in doing this, you do lose that vertical adjustment, but I found myself just placing this on my wallet, and typically that would get the job done. And now I'm doing a portrait video mode test, which I like this mode. I think it looks pretty good. So I am using the selfie camera that's on the bigger display when you unfold it, and I am using the built-in microphones, and we have a little bit of noise. The highway is not too far from here, but let me know what you think about the sound quality coming from these built-in microphones, and also let me know if you ever use the portrait video mode yourself. But the main attraction for this phone is going to be the fact that it is foldable, and now you have this bigger screen on the outside. And that's really the main focus of this phone this year, is Samsung really trying to make what makes this phone unique better, and that is the outside screen. The fact that you can use this phone when it's folded, but you still get all of this at that starting price range of $999, so that $1,000 price tag is really the sweet spot for foldable phones right now. And so you do have 2 storage configurations for this phone. Both will be coming with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but now you have 256 gigabytes or 512 gigabytes to choose from. They got rid of the baseline 128 gigabyte storage from last year, so that's good. For the same price, you're getting a bump up in storage. And like always, Samsung has some crazy good trade-in deals, at least in this pre-order period for the phone that I'm recording this video in. Doing this pre-order, Samsung will be giving you $900 in trade-in value for the previous Z Flip 4. So you could get this Z Flip 5 for like $100, or maybe after taxes like $150 or so. But my overall assessment of this phone is that this is the best bang for your buck foldable phone that Samsung makes. So what you're getting for the price tag and the uniqueness of it, this is the one foldable phone that I will be recommending to most people if they are looking for one. And so you can see by this timer, it's taking me like an hour and 20 minutes to finish this video. So let me go ahead and wrap up by thanking you for watching this video. I'll leave some links down below if you want to check out this phone even more, and drop a comment down below with your thoughts about the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.